and we have Cat Daddy Crypto, and we have Bitcoin Hoodie. How are all you guys doing?
Great. Hello, everybody.
Happy Saturday.
Yeah. Happy Saturday afternoon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
morning over here.
Yeah. Morning. It's true.
Yeah. Can you just, I'll ask the first question there, Wolf, if that's all right. Just, I know there's going to be a lot of questions in about, there's a lot of like all these hints leading towards Binance on X and these posts, and people are suggesting that it's to do with listing KASPA, and can you shine any light on that? Would you mind?
Certainly. So, so first I have to proceed. I have to start the answer with, this is like just an overall thing that if you look, just like when you look at the coins on Coin Market Cap, as you start getting towards the top, towards Ethereum and Bitcoin, you're getting to the top of the ladder on the coin rankings by market cap. And similarly, when you look at the exchange listings, they're ranked by volume, obviously. So Binance and Coinbase and OKX, those guys are getting really towards the top of the roost there. And the higher you get up the ladder with the exchanges, the less they tell you because of the volume, the extreme volume, and all of the everything about it. They don't even tell us the when. The WEN, the famous cat question of all time on Twitter, that's not a question they answer, period. So I can tell you it's not really too much of a secret. Binance has done the work with us. We've been in close contact with them for over a year with Binance. They did the work to get us on the mining pool, on the wallet, and blah, 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 blah. So we have open comm lines with them. Mostly it's been around compliance and documentation and technical, so we got them going with the Golang version, the original Node software, 2 Christmases ago. And in the last several months, we've advised them of the upgrade of changing the Node software to the Rust version that will allow to once we switch to 10 blocks per second, they'll be able to seamlessly merge into that speed upgrade along with the rest of the network. So we know they know about us. We talk to them infrequently, but we have open communication lines open with Binance. And the when is not something they will tell us, but we just know that it's possible for whenever they want and they see fit to turn on trading, it can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks for that answer.
Sure.
And the whole, I see Coinbase, there's a lot of stuff going on there as well, where you've applied to them numerous times and you don't seem to get anywhere with them. And their actual form that you have to fill out for your application form is kind of aimed at central organized businesses. It's not really aimed towards decentralized like KASPA. So
Sure. So Coinbase is even a tighter entity. So in the first several years of KASPA being on mainnet, I was unable to connect with them in any fashion. Then thanks to that KII, the KASPA industrial letter, that open letter, that their attorney did get me in touch with a nice listings person, and we had a few initial conversations. And so she told me that they're basically, it's referred to as, she referred to their inside entity as, very secretive, and information doesn't come out. Similar to what I was saying about Binance, maybe even a slight degree larger, to a greater extent. But, for sure, they know who we are. For sure, they're aware of the technology and the amazingness of it. And just the when and the when it will make sense for them, like a business case to do the work with us. And they could be doing the work without us and integrating. I have no reason to think they are, but it's very secretive, and it's a business. It's publicly traded. We love decentralized land, and we think like everything should be fair and like we're magic, and it's true, KASPA's magic. But businesses, people start businesses to make money, a revenue stream, and when things don't make sense to, they prioritize to make the company, the corporation, profitable. So when they think KASPA, it would be profitable for them compared to all the other opportunities they have. This is me, surmising from what I think, that they will. I mean, KASPA is kind of inevitable to me. That's of course just my opinion for everything, But but when these large players jump in line, it's on their watch, their clock, and their prioritization for business cases. This is what it is.
Okay. No, thanks for that answer. I know you're probably sick of that question, but
No,
I know
it's
it's on everybody's lips,
Yeah, but everybody, I mean, that's seems to be, the top of the
food chain of
list.
questions.
Yeah.
for everybody, because we all love KASPA, obviously, but we also, all of us also want to make money, I think, or a lot of us do anyway. And we know exchange listings, tier ones are, it's relevancy, I guess you could call it, to an extent, right? Where, mainstream can now interact and, purchase a lot easier as well. So, I was actually interested in potentially hearing your take on, I know smart contracts, the native smart contracts. I think the update has come out, and it's about 2 to 3 months from now, roughly. And I'm wondering if you might, and you may not even know at this point, for whatever reason, but any projects that have, that may be in the pipeline as far as, creating smart contracts and that are going to start building on KASPA that you potentially know about. And then I'm also curious about a wallet setup. Are there going to be some nice integrated, mobile wallets and Chrome extension wallets, kind of like the Phantom wallet, for instance, in Solana, where it's just really nice and easy, user friendly, and I think something like that would onboard a heck of a lot of more people, in my opinion. So I was just curious if you may or may not have any insight in any of that kind of stuff.
Sure. So the smart contracts thing, I'm not sure of the timeline. I think when you said the two plus months or something, that may be referring to that just in the last few days, that group that popped up that said they would have them going pretty shortly, right? I forgot what the name was,
Yeah.
like almost like
Hydra Labs or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So and you guys know I only know enough of the technology to be dangerous, so to speak. So I'm not a developer, and I don't understand. I understand the real general way that like blockchains and the block DAG work, but once it comes to like bridges and L1.5s and L2s, I don't get it that much. But I do know that here's some important things to keep in mind. Number one is that the neat thing about some people I've seen like criticism, like, oh, it's not even a native smart contract. It's not settled. It's not what do you call it? Like calculated on the KASPA network. It's an L2. Like that's lame or something. But the neat thing is the L2s, or they call it like also I think a L1.5. It's like in between like the layer 1 and a layer 2, and the reason they categorize it like that, from my understanding, is that so L2s for like Ethereum, for example, those ones have their own coin on that secondary network, and you pay for things to happen on that network with their own coin, and that's like what you would call parasitic. It's robbing the ability of Ethereum to gain transactional revenue. Because you're paying in a different coin for stuff to happen somewhere else. And then they just once in a while just talk to Ethereum network and give them a little bit of pay. So unlike that scenario, all of the ones that we're aware of that are going to come out for KASPA will be settled, will be paid in KASPA. So even though it's a separate network, you're still paying KASPA for something to happen on there, which goes to miner revenue for KASPA with the ASICs. And you know, so everybody knows and has criticized, well, not everybody, but there has been criticism of the rapid emissions pay, you know, the block reward reduction. And this will help to subsidize the miners moving forward. The more transactional revenue we have as the block rewards go down and the transactions go up, then the miners will still get a, you know, a decent payout. That's the thought and the hope. But I'm sorry, it's a little bit early over here. I didn't answer the original question. I stepped in with some supplemental info. So I think there are wallets being worked on that should be really neat and you know, user friendly. I know KASPA Ecosystem Foundation is fantastic. They've been rounding up lots of contacts and speaking to lots of you know, different sorts of entities, traditional finance entities, which is really interesting, as well as a lot of wallet providers. So we're working with different ones, and there's also the possibility, the distinct possibility of a KASPA exclusive new one coming out, something like what you mentioned, you know, the Phantom wallet for Solana.
Oh, I just got a quick thing to, sorry to interrupt, is I wonder if they'll end up being like with Bitcoin, like Blockstream Jade or the Cold Card, which are actually Bitcoin only cold storage. I wonder if down the road we'll see some KASPA only cold storage options popping up, which feels like maybe it's kind of a little too early for that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a great idea. I don't see why not, but maybe it's just a teeny bit too early. But yeah, let's see what comes out. If you have any manufacturers or any known entities that do this sort of thing that may be open to the concept, just let me know who it is, and we'll see if we can get in touch with them.
I had another question, and this is kind of pretty broad and kind of vague, but what do you think that it might be for just kind of the crypto like hive mind share to latch more on to the technology that KASPA has? You know, because right now, if you go to Coin Market Cap, you can see Trump coin way up there, whatever, which has no utility. And once we, according to my calculations, once we upgrade to 10 blocks per second, we'll pretty much, I guess, have final settlement on about 36,000 blocks per hour. We'll have final settlement where Bitcoin has 1 block with final settlement per hour. And I just wonder what it will take for, which is kind of guesswork, but it just seems like some people just care about making money, but then there's also a lot of people, especially in Bitcoin, that want this decentralized, you know, form of money. And then that it's going to be the final settlement, I think, is the big kicker. 36,000 blocks for an hour versus 1 block.
Sure. Well, I think as between KRC20 and then the introduction of the first smart contract platform, I believe we're going to have more things pop up, like maybe a true DEX, or maybe some pump.fun kind of thing, and or maybe both. Like there's going to be more capability to create fun and interesting and exciting things. Memes will be more easily, you know, more prolific and easy to manage and everything. I think the ecosystem is very, very young, and what we can do with the KRCs so far is relatively limited compared to some other platforms, like namely Solana. But I think we're right on the cusp or the eve of a little expansion of the capabilities and what's going to be able to be done, and at the speed you're talking about. You know, the 10 blocks per second is 4 times faster than Solana, and we don't have network outages either, so that's kind of neat. So I think everything, all of the ingredients are there for you know, with a recipe for, you know, potential for real success and thriving ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree on that. Yeah, there's all the pieces of the puzzle are there. And I think that maybe when the 10 blocks per second, some people won't realize, because some people don't think about final settlement time. And then Solana also has a lot of fake transactions and a lot of failed transactions than the way they count them. So, but that doesn't mean that people don't like it because they're sitting there, buying whatever pumped out fun. So I think it's going to be an exciting time, especially, I don't know how it fits in with KASPA, but it seems like the new administration's like pretty much opening the floodgates for crypto and turning it into the wild, wild west where pretty much, I don't know, it feels like I could see Coinbase launching their token now that they might feel like they're not going to get any kind of, SEC attack.
Sure. Yeah, it is pretty neat. I mean, just historically and the most broad view or the highest helicopter view of crypto overall, not only KASPA whatsoever, but just to have many people it felt like didn't realize, like on the 20th of this month, it was just 5 days ago. That's historical, that the war on crypto was in the past. It was done with. And even if the new administration was neutral, that would be great progress. But not only are they neutral, they're enacting laws and framework and appointing people to run, like that Senator Cynthia Lummis. She's super pro Bitcoin. And KASPA almost is genetically like the great grandson of Bitcoin, I would say. So I think we can pretty much slide into wherever Bitcoin's going, legal framework wise or whatever. I would say KASPA would be a shoe-in to inherit the same things. I think we're just a little too young and not so heard of in the highest levels of American, whatever you want to call it, crypto land at the moment, to where we're not categorized yet as a commodity like Bitcoin, I guess, by the CFTC is actually categorized as a commodity. And I believe somehow Ethereum is also. But as things develop, we'll be able to see if we can do anything to get KASPA in that same class, officially. There's no reason why it shouldn't be.
And some of those people, there's big players that they won't even play with anything until it has $2 trillion worth of liquidity like Bitcoin does now. Like there's,
Sure.
probably, I'm sure maybe some, states are starting to look at it and things like that. But then also with Trump obviously has NFTs on Polygon, his Solana meme coin, and the Bitcoin ordinals NFT. So he's more crypto and not just Bitcoin centric. So
Sure.
there's a lot of people that are starting, like they're talking about a potential digital asset stockpile. And is interesting. This morning I saw that Musk is looking at a blockchain technology for the Department of Government Efficiency, which who knows, he might be trying to just plug Doge in there. But it'd be interesting if if KASPA is something on his radar, because it still might not have trillions of dollars of liquidity of Bitcoin, but it was just in the top 20, not that long ago, just right before the election.
Yeah. And actually on that basic note, many of you guys may have seen I had mentioned that senator, the nice female Senator Cynthia Lummis, and she was appointed as chair of the Digital Asset Committee or something just earlier in the week. And I tweeted her congratulations, and I let her know that, this is not what I let her know, but we all know here that many people, the founder and many of the developers of KASPA, the original guys, they do live in Israel. And so for that reason, it's frequently in the past 3 years, KASPA has been perceived as an Israel coin, when in actuality, it's decentralized. We know this. There's nodes all over the world. There's miners all over the world. And now there's developers all over the world. But I was pointing out to the senator and other people online, this is my office in California, Southern California. Behind here, there are many gaming, like high-end gaming computers that I built. And so the development of Rusty KASPA happened in this office in America. So lots of guys remote in from around the world, including Israel, and and do the work. And so they code on these machines and they compile on these machines. So the node software actually is made in America. Technically, it comes into existence in the United States, not somewhere else. So between that and marathon mining, a substantial, Marathon's a substantial portion of the hash rate. Also, Christian Ludwig has a large mining entity for KASPA on the East Coast. So lots of KASPA coins are technically made in the United States, as well as the node software comes into existence in the United States. So my argument is that if there's a made in crypto list, made in America crypto list, that KASPA should appear on that. Of course it's decentralized, but it's largely made in America. There's a substantial part that does actually emanate from the United States. So we should be counted in that, especially, there's going to be tax gains, being spoken, it's being discussed for, less or no capital gains tax and things like that. So it's certainly a class that we would want to be included in, especially from my perspective. Some people may not agree, but,
Doesn't hurt having the Marathon Digital CEO rubbing elbows with the administration and just all those high ups in the crypto world. And as far as I can tell, you got to wait till their next SEC filing, but they seem to be holding for the most part through this, because they probably feel like it's going to be up in value, and they're borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin. So they're probably not in a big hurry to dump the amount of money they have with KASPA.
Yeah, I've never had the pleasure yet of meeting Fred Thiel, the CEO of Marathon. However, two of his right-hand men, Paul and then Adam Swick. Adam Swick's on my Twitter. There's a picture of me, Adam, and me in Vegas at Poppy Steakhouse. That was when I knew that they were mining KASPA, but we couldn't say anything. They couldn't announce it for another couple of days, but we were having a good dinner. And we're all stoked, So those guys, I've never met Fred, like I mentioned, but Adam and Paul, they love KASPA, like they love it. They recognize it as superb technology and a great decentralized project. And so I know those guys, they're not just doing it to just sell, they don't just do it just to. Well, it's a corporation, okay, but those guys have their heart in KASPA. I can tell you that much. They're not just. It's not just an easy stepping stone for towards Bitcoin for them. They recognize it for what it really is.
Yeah, I remember that tweet. It lit a fire under all of us KASPA influencers and YouTubers, because we're like, oh man, Marathon Digital, they're mining. It didn't say that directly, but we're like, we put the tea leaves together.
What are we doing hanging out there together? If for the fun
exactly,
of it? Yeah.
I'm a lot newer in the space than the other two guys, but like originally, like most of us got into the space to make money, and we still do. But I started to learn about KASPA and get into it. But most of the people that fund KASPA at the moment, they're only interested. They're only looking at the price. They're not looking at what's coming down the line. How good the tech is and what it means for the future. And like you have. First, we're going to have 10 blocks per second, and then we have smart contracts. Then we have Dagnite, and then in the future, hopefully 100 blocks per second. And because of your analogy with the bus and for the MEV, like Jonathan is doing the 100 blocks per second, not maybe because it's faster, but more to stop attacks, MEV attacks, rearranging transactions and stuff like that. And I didn't really understand that until I went in and I watched your analogy on another interview, and then it kind of clicked. It made a bit of sense, So, like you say, you're not very technical, but because of the way you put things, it helps people that aren't so technical understand. So appreciate that. But one question I had, in the future, like KASPA is like 90% mined now. So when it's fully mined, a lot of people worry about what's going to keep miners interested. So I know that KII and all these energy companies are planning on transacting across KASPA instead of using Ethereum because of the gas fees and all that kind of stuff. But what other things, like, do you know much about that, or why do you think, like, to stop people worrying about that kind of stuff?
Sure. So we have the we expect with everything that we're building, the ecosystems, you know, various ones. We have the KRC20, right? Those create miner revenue, the transaction fees. We have KRC 721 coming out, NFTs. That's still inscription based, but it generates revenue just like smart contracts will. Then we have multiple smart contract platforms coming out. So we have the guys. I forgot the name again. I'm sorry. So we got the ones
Igra Lab.
Oh, Igra Labs, yeah.
those guys. Then we have the Sparkle, the potential of the Sparkle one. So that's two different ones that, if they're both active, they're both going to be generating revenue. Then we have KII is working on the Warp Core thingy. That's like an intermediary platform that will, on the one side, it's ISO 20022, I think, compliant for the SWIFT and the banking system, traditional finance latch-in. Then on the other side, it's porting into the KASPA network, and so to do that, you have to pay fees. So there's going to be fees potentially generated from that. So that's all fees. And then something else occurred to me just maybe mid last year when we began to speak to the fantastic people from KASPA Industrial, is that, like, if, you know, so far in crypto, everybody who buys a miner or has miners going, especially, you know, ASICs, they're doing it because they pay the electric, they have the warehouse or the data center, and then they're spending, and then they're generating coins for money, and so they're doing it to generate revenue directly, right? Now, once you get to the category of people like KASPA Industrial, you have these huge, and the possibility of huge global energy players and huge industrial guys that have these unimaginable budgets, right? So, like, think about it right now. How much does Bank of America spend on servers in the data center? They probably have, you know, 1,000 servers turned on 24 hours a day, 10,000, or AWS. Their bill for Amazon Web or other cloud servers is like, you know, like millions of dollars a month. It has to be, right? If not more. So is it really that crazy that, supposing, you know, the gigawatt token is a fantastic success, and there's all this energy trading going on gigawatt token, and then you know what, like, somehow transactional revenue from KASPA transactions, when the mining rewards, maybe it's not that much, but what if they just want to keep their business network going and they just buy 100 ASICs or 1,000 ASICs and just keep them on for a business server, just business computers, just keeping the network going? Like, you know,
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, like, they don't care that it's generating, you know, it's nice that it's generating a little bit, but who cares? It's just a computer. I'm keeping my computers turned on to keep the network going. Like,
you were at that conference in Dublin, and I wanted to go over and talk to you, but when you were eating, so I skipped you, and I never went back because everybody was talking to everybody, and I'm just a small YouTuber that was there. But you were sitting there for 3 hours and you listened to all these really smart people talk about everything that can be built on KASPA. And one of the things that Rory O'Neill said was what you were saying there. In Mongolia, they have all this renewable energy that it's too far from the grid to be connected. So he was saying about building a lot of a solar farm and have a center for mining and just connect it to that, you know, and then run a fiber cable out there, which is a lot cheaper than running out energy cables, and that would mine KASPA as well, and that would help run the network for them. So yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, and you also have to, I mean, I don't believe there's going to be a time when the hash rate, even if neither of those things came to fruition. So even if transactional revenue wasn't that high, and you know, and nobody wants to plug it in for an industrial use case, there's so many fans and people around the world, and there's miners. Like, I have a few Ice River, the little ones, like the home router ones. Those still have a lot of hash rate, and just keeping them plugged in just because we love the project. At a very worst case, I mean, there's thousands of people around the world that would keep them plugged in just for the hell of it, because they take like as much electric as a light bulb. Who cares?
Yeah, I have one of those at my house too. I know Crypto Pumps, you have a couple as well.
You have 3, yeah.
And yeah, it costs literally nothing to run. So
yeah,
it's just runs in the background, and
it's very, very unlikely that it would come to that. But yeah, the hash rate going to 0 is, I would say, impossible.
Yeah.
And if the price appreciates at all, then that helps with the security budget for the miners.
Agree. Yep.
Yeah.
hmm What else we got, guys?
I had a question. I'm hearing from a lot of people that I know KASPA is like a, from the ground up roots type project, which one of the reasons we all love it, community driven type of stuff. But a lot of people I'm hearing in the social media world, take it with a grain of salt, but it's out there, that they're that KASPA's not doing enough marketing to kind of get the wheels turning a little faster. And I'm just curious if there's any sort of ramped up going into this bull cycle potentially, marketing campaigns that you guys may or may not have on the upcoming schedule potentially.
Sure. So obviously, you guys know the whole scoop about, decentralized, no foundation wallet, no corporate bank account. So for traditional corporations like maybe Solana or something like that, those guys are a business. They start the business, they get investors, they have corporate bank accounts, and they create coins and from relatively speaking thin air. So they have a large balance that they can spend on things like directly hire marketing agencies and ad space and make things appear on like sports events and all that kind of stuff. So obviously we're not in that class. We're a different thing. So we don't do that. So we don't directly do that, nor do we have any we don't have the means to do that. So there's no direct plans for that. Now, the next thing is that KASPA Ecosystem Foundation, they have a budget for whatever they see fit to do. So in the future, it's not crazy to think that when the time is right and the right platform or the right messaging is in order, that they would pay for some things for sure. And then here's another neat thing. So just my wife is very cute, and she gets crypto just very little bit, but she knows about it, because I've been geeking out every day for a long time. So she was playing on her phone just I don't know, 3 days ago. She was playing like a little a Candy Crush kind of little app thing on her phone, and then she texts me, "Hey, what's Uphold? Do we have Uphold?" And I go, "Yeah, Caspa's on Uphold. That's the one that we got on in America first. That's the first place where you could buy crypto for Uphold." She goes, "Let me screenshot this. Something just came up on my game," and she screenshots me. And it's Uphold on one side of the screen, and on the other side, it's a little logo with KASPA, a little image, and it says let's go KASPA. And so Uphold is advertising KASPA to people playing games on phones in Southern California. So my point with this is that just like Bitcoin themselves didn't really advertise themselves that I'm aware of. They may have done some things over the years and whatever, holding up the sign behind someone in Congress or whatever it was. But but other places advertise Bitcoin for the project, and so we've already seen examples like Uphold and Kraken advertising us, and we were talking about the Big B Binance, there's an awful lot of teasing on Twitter that could be about us. At least maybe some of it is, and some of it might be wishful thinking or just a generalization by them to get attention of various projects. Who knows? But the point is, when they finally do turn on trading, I'm sure they are going to advertise KASPA, right? As are other large entities. Like we're under consideration in Grayscale as an asset, right? So if they decide to pull the trigger, which we made the first cut, they omitted from last year. They omitted some currencies didn't make the cut, so they removed some from the list of under consideration. but KASPA's stuck. So we're still under consideration. That's a great sign. So when they hopefully do pull the trigger, and we are available through Grayscale to be purchased by institutions and family offices in some fashion, whether it's an ETF or a basket or a fund or an index or something, then they're going to advertise KASPA as one of the things to their customers and let people know this is a breakthrough technology. This is proof of work, and it's mined by the biggest miner in the world, also along with Bitcoin, and whatever their message is, they're going to advertise for us. So, do we need to take out full page ads ourselves in the Wall Street Journal? I don't think so. I think everything's happening as it should. We're on a path, we're on a journey. So far, it's been successful, and we've made great breakthroughs. And every stride, through the weeks and months, brings us to a new level of acceptance, adoption, and hash rate, and everything.
Yeah, I imagine too the bigger exchanges, once they decide to list, Binance, OKX, those they're going to do their own marketing in an effect towards KASPA as well,
Sure.
to a certain extent, so that they can bring in more, trading volume to their exchange too. So,
And beyond the blockchain, Wolfie, are you going to be starring in that? Are they interviewing you for it?
Oh, so I met those guys in Australia. That's the documentary that you're talking about. Yeah, they're very nice guys. They're sharp guys. They're real pro. I met them they had cameras out at the KASPA party, and I have a little neat story about that KASPA party that I'll tell after. But they're great guys. I agreed to answer any questions if they have questions about the historical, what happened in the early days of KASPA or whatever. So beyond that, I'm not really sure though. But the story is this. Jonathan is quite a character. We know this. There's all kinds of theories about Jonathan being or not being somebody famous in crypto history. But so I finally got to meet the guy quite a few times down there in Australia. And so we were at the KASPA party at this roof, this great venue in like some museum or something right in Sydney there. And I may have mentioned it before, but Jonathan told me a long time ago, like he wakes up before the sun every day. He wakes up and he meditates. And there have been people throughout history that I've learned about in history class. Somehow I was paying attention by accident, like 40 years ago. And, I heard like Einstein, would like meditate and go into this realm and tap into something and get these ideas, or like Thomas Edison, one of the inventors of, like the light bulb and whatever, electricity. He would go to this park and he would meditate, I think, and like pull these ideas of technology from unknown, like deep in the mind, or the Akashic record, or the universe, or whatever it is, right? And Jonathan's one of those guys. So he's connected to something extra special. And we're walking out of this, and I'm like a weirdo. We know this already, right? So I'm always looking for little signs from the universe and little hints, not like superstitious, but just little. I don't see like reality and life as like a static environment. I see it as like depending on my thoughts, my actions, then the game is dynamic. Like my environment, it's like a video game. Like you finish a quest in the video game, and then like some other thing opens up and the game changes a little. So that's how my life experience has been. So I'm walking out of the museum with Jonathan right there next to him on the stairs, and I look up and there's this huge mural, like it's the inside of almost like a basketball gym, like a high school gym or something, a huge mural on the wall. And right there on the wall in like a script, it's some saying, just a few words, and it starts with capital, but the capital is with a K-A. And I tell Jonathan, I go, we could walk out of museums for the rest of our lives around the world, and you would never ever see capital spelled with a K-A. And I go, that's a sign from the universe. We're exactly where we're supposed to be right now at this exact point in time. And I thought he might go like, you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? And he goes, there are signs. There are always signs. You just have to know where to look. Like he was down with it. I was like, yes, this is cool. So that was pretty cool.
Daily. I have one more quick question, if it's all right. Then are you okay just to take a few questions? I noticed you have the awesome speakers and the amp in the background. Do you have like a screen that pops down there as well?
There is not. This is only for two channel audio listening. Yeah, there's
Right.
no video involved. It's not like a home theater setup. It's like a high, audiophile stuff.
Right. Okay. It's impressive.
Thanks, man.
So first question here. Are they waiting for 10 blocks per second to go live? Because of the software change to onboard the new testnet. So I think that's with Binance. Do you think they're waiting for the hard fork before? Could that be one thing?
This falls under the category to they don't tell us the when. They don't mention their logic or their timeline or their reasoning for anything. Yeah, they don't say that.
Is there going to be a WOLFIE NFT?
That's funny. That's very flattering. I have no idea. I'm not going to make those things, but if somebody makes some of different team members or cats or anything, that would be neat.
Okay.
I guarantee there will be a Wolfie NFT at some point. Somebody's gonna make it.
There was a token, wasn't there? There was a KRC20 token, WOLFIE, that came out.
I think I saw that. I got
Yeah,
a few private messages. Is this you? Did you make this? I go,
Yeah.
no, it's not me. Yeah. Okay, Sailor. This is an interesting question. Of course, I have no direct connection with the man. I've seen him online, just like everybody else, for the last several years. So, it's almost in the same category as what these Binance tweets and OKX tweet with the tornado and the green color. They seem to indicate, something to do with KASPA, but of course we have to realize we are biased subjects. So anytime we see this color, we're thinking it's about us, So other people from other colored projects don't think it's about KASPA as much as we do. However, Sailor's a pretty sharp guy. He figured out how to have his own corporation in the United States, and he figured out how to get tons of Bitcoin. And even if he's not directly doing all of the thinking and research himself, he's probably got people on it. If all of us could find out about KASPA and think that and realize there's something special about it, a guy like that, and Grayscale they found out about us, and that Valor ETP over in Sweden, I believe it is. Those guys found. I didn't pitch them. I didn't convince them to make an ETP for KASPA. They found it by themselves. So the idea that Sailor never heard of us, I mean, he for sure knows the marathon guys, So he knows of KASPA for sure. It's impossible that he doesn't, that he doesn't know of us. Now, the only question in my mind is does he have such not an ego, but like, does he have such a like
Bitcoin maxi won't change? Yeah.
Is he incapable of fitting the idea of something that's another great asset that's mineable in his mind? Is it impossible to fit in there? There's people like that, or is he like, this one's a winner too? I'm not.
There's one of his talks. He was talking about like, well, Bitcoin could be 10 or 20, for the next 10 or 20 years, it could be the thing. So that kind of left open where some Bitcoin maximalists talk about how, for the next million years, that's the only thing that'll exist. So the way he said that, and he was talking about a 10 to 20 year time frame, but he was leaving open that there's a possibility that something else is going to be after it. Michael Saylor said that at one of his events. So he was just talking about, I think it's going to be the next, for the next 10 or 20 years. So it wasn't like in 2140, I guarantee you everyone's going to be on the Bitcoin standard. And it was interesting because yesterday I made a video and I just talked about how he's saying crypto a little bit more in some of his posts.
Agree,
and then Noti Crypto is this guy that's got 70,000 subscribers or whatever. And after I made my video, I saw his video about KASPA, and he was actually talking about how he thinks he was using that as a narrative that he believes it's possible that Sailor's starting to use that and he's opening up. And his thesis was that he thinks it's possible that he might be getting some KASPA. Now, who knows? But it's he's using the word crypto a little bit more, like quoting Trump and saying, there's a crypto renaissance, not just a Bitcoin renaissance. So, and see, that's what can happen in thought. Even a huge maximalist like Michael Saylor, say it was possible he did shift his mindset, lots of Bitcoin maximalists would be against it initially. But what happens if for a year or 2 years, if Saylor starts kind of edging them in, eventually they'll start changing their mindset potentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, to play devil's advocate too, real quick. I've heard the opposite theory about the apple as well, because the Adam and Eve scenario, the apple was the forbidden fruit, which is what, I think Adam ate,
sure.
and then everything turned, bad after that. But maybe the blue apple is KASPA, is that forbidden fruit that you shouldn't eat or shouldn't touch because Bitcoin is, king in his mind, is the alternating theory behind that. But obviously we
Or
have
it
no
just
clue
means absolutely nothing.
what it actually
If you
means.
think of it from a business case, like the amount, the billions he's spending on Bitcoin, like to get just to be neck and neck with, like, Marathon has, like, we've seen the wallet, it seems to be theirs, and we surmise that they're in the ballpark of 100 million plus, maybe a shade over 100 million, right? 100 million KASPA coins. That's not that much money to Saylor, from whatever he does with reissuing stock and borrowing and getting tons of Bitcoin just to get a little stack of KASPA, or even personally, the guy's got to have the means to just have on download, just accumulate tens of millions or a couple hundred million coins just for himself, just in case KASPA becomes like a thing also besides Bitcoin, which it sure looks like it's going that direction. It would be a smart business case, unless he really doesn't care either. He's already a billionaire. Like, who cares? So we don't know.
Yeah, he may not care, but also, yeah, like you said, he's got a ton of money. He could just purchase a chunk of it and
Just in
put it
case.
aside and just wait and see.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
who
At one
knows?
time, I think personally he had 17,000 Bitcoin. So for him to have 100 million KASPA would probably not be that big of a dent in his overall net worth.
No.
It's like pocket change probably to him.
Okay,
So.
we see the KRC20 question here. What will happen to KRC20 when smart contracts are live? Will they migrate? So the actual platform of the Casplex guys, I don't think they're going to just turn off those indexing servers and stop working on it. But so I think this might be more the answer from what I would imagine is more on a per token project basis. So like one token may choose to go to smart contract version, and then another one may choose to stay on there. I'm not really sure how this will develop, but I know it's been answered previously that it is possible to migrate to a smart contract version. So I guess they would just want to see, like, how's the interaction with different versions look like, and where's all the action going down? Is it going down on like a smart contract DEX maybe? Then they would want to move it over. So I'm not sure. It's too early to know the real answer, but I know it would be possible. Oh yeah, there's the blue apple. So we talked about that kind of. Yeah. I did see someone mention that the blue Sailor's artist uses that's part of his palette anyway, that color in previous other art or something. Someone mentioned that too. So who knows?
It's possible. It just has no meaning at all. No deeper meaning.
Yeah, he may be watching right now laughing, or he may see it in some weeks, or his advisors or his lawyers may watch and be laughing. He would never touch that. Like, who knows?
Yeah, it's not really. Somebody wants you to bring the KASPA team to the US.
So they already do. They already are here via a neat protocol called SSH. So they log in securely and create the software here in America.
Cool.
But they're actually wherever they're at, but they're logging in securely to those computers you're talking about.
Yep. People don't know also the lead developer Sutton has U.S. citizenship, so he's
okay.
So American remoting in to work. How's that?
Yeah.
ISO regulated. We're not. So crypto bros, like many of them are allergic to having a bank traditional finance constraint around them, to bending a knee to doing things how the banks say, so to speak, like that ISO compliance. Therefore, that was the inspiration for the KASPA Industrial to create the Warp Core intermediary software platform. So that's the one I was mentioning earlier, where on the one end, it talks to KASPA in a non-bank way, just in a regular network KASPA interaction. And then on the other side of the other side of the function, it's talking in bank compliant syntax to the Swift system, etc., in a compliant manner.
Somebody just says Binance, hurry up.
Yep. Yeah, they got their timeline. Whatever they're gonna do, we'll see what happens.
It'll happen when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at all the other grayscale currencies in their bucket, KASPA is the only currency that they have under consideration, but pretty much all those other ones besides Zcash are listed everywhere. Litecoin, all, Bitcoin Cash, they're listed everywhere.
And not to be mean, but I mean, those are really technology from the teens of, the 20 teens. They're all blockchains. They're very, very relatively speaking, they're very slow. There's nothing special about them. Zcash is privacy. That's interesting. But to me, privacy is just like a bolt on to the original Bitcoin. All of them are just Bitcoin with like a little hot rodding. They speed up the block time. They change the algo. They add
bigger block or something.
Yeah, the bigger blocks. They're just hot rodded Bitcoin, but nothing special or breakthrough or revolutionary about any of them except KASPA.
Can you see that, Wolfie, from the KII?
Oh yeah, power generation projects actively being developed right now. Oh yeah, those guys mean business, man. They know the energy and large industrial. They're no strangers. They're not faking it. They're in that game for decades, and so having them be interested in KASPA is very, very. It's quite an applauded. Well, that's not the right word. It's quite a pat on the back to have them recognize the breakthrough superior tech of KASPA and have them choose to begin creating interaction and harnessing KASPA's network for the industrial use cases that they've outlined. So
did it seem like Coinbase on X? It seems like they took KASPA, the KII's open letter, pretty seriously. At least their lawyer or whatever that responded to KII. So I don't know. It just seemed like it wasn't like if I posted on there, it didn't feel like they'd have probably responded. But somehow when KII posted, it seems like they took that more seriously.
Agreed.
Yeah, there's some weight behind it.
Their language and their experience in interacting with huge global entities shines through in all of their communications.
A lot of people probably don't know, but hasn't KII been looking for a solution for cross-border payments and all this since, was it 2012 they started looking?
In the teens, yeah. I'm not sure the exact date, but yeah, they've been looking for, approaching 10 years or slightly over, something like that. Yeah.
Another message from the KII there is telling us that we have over 200 sites identified. I guess that's from mining.
Sure. That's right. That's pretty neat.
My ultras are on Cap Pool, natural rewards. Yeah. Oh yeah. I started using the Nacho Cap Pool yesterday and I make massive gains. I get 6 casts a day, but it's an extra cast because before when I was mining to a different pool, I got 5 casts. So I'm getting an extra 1 cast now a day.
Yep. Now that doesn't sound like a lot. Like we're laughing about it right now. 6 casts, right? Some of you guys may have heard my old Bitcoin story, but I'll tell it super quick in case there's people listening that haven't heard it. Just to show you what you think is nothing now can turn into something. So I was playing World of Warcraft in 2011, and some kid told me, "Hey, are you mining Bitcoin when you shut off your rig?" I go, "Bitcoin? What the hell is that?" And he's like, "It's like WoW Gold, like Warcraft Gold from the game, except you can send it outside the game to anybody on the internet. You just get these credits." I go, how's it work? And he goes, it's just a couple of programs. You start one and it gives you like a wallet with an address, and then you take the address and you start the other one and you paste in the address, and then you just start getting like coins, like credits come like over time. I go, oh, I'll try that. So I started it, and I was getting 1 Bitcoin every 5 days. I'm like, all right, I got one. That's all right, you know. And then more people started mining. The difficulty went up, and then within a few weeks, I was only getting half a Bitcoin every 10 days. And so after a couple more weeks, I realized I'm losing like $5 a week on electric. This is retarded. This thing's not going to make it. And so I shut that rig off. You know what I mean? So I quit doing it, you know? So yeah, when you think you're only getting 6 KASPA coins a day, it doesn't sound like much now. It's hardly a cup of coffee, but you never know what it could be. And looking back 5 or 10 years, you might be like, oh my God, I was getting 6 coins a day. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to look back
For sure.
and see, you know, how much a very small amount of KASPA might be worth.
But I leave them running anyways. During the summer, the wife, when she's doing the washing, she brings it in here, and it's so hot in here from the 3 miners. It dries the clothes in like, you know, half an hour. So so they're always on.
I heated my house last winter with my GPU rigs.
Right.
I had to open the windows in midwinter while we were sleeping because it was so hot in the house.
That's one of the things. Luke, the Australian ambassador, he was talking to me in Dublin, and I think he wants to build a house, and he wants to do some kind of system that is heated by his miners.
That's pretty
what he was
cool.
saying. Yeah.
I see a question over here. Somebody asking about, this would be a good one to clarify. How much did KASPA donate to the Trump administration? So Jonathan had tweeted that you have to read the English. You have to read the wording very, very, you know, concisely, or this. You have to pay attention to the exact wording. So it said the Trump administration would take a donation in KASPA. Okay, so way earlier, like in the middle of last year, before the election, before Trump won, somebody brought it to our attention. It was a previous Bitmain employee and DAG Labs employee, Gadi Glickberg, let us know that there was a sit down with Trump was available. You could be at like a crypto roundtable with him and some of his people, I believe, for $1 million of whatever coin you have. So I thought it wasn't a great idea. He wasn't the president yet. It was a lot of money. And there was no guarantee that anything was really going to come of it. And I figured, in addition, we'd be sitting with real pros and wine and dine, you know, like Solana and XRP and blah, 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 and we'd be drowned out. That was just my thought. I didn't want to spend my money on it. I didn't want to appear, because I'm not an expert sitting down with suit guys like that, you know. So anyway, so I didn't take it any further. And that was about the end of it. Jonathan wasn't sure, but he wasn't going to be the guy, and he wasn't going to spend his own money either. So that was the end of it. So the idea was that they would have accepted KASPA, not that they did get any, or that they did, you know, they're immediately aware of it, anything like that.
KIA, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
KIA posted that they've been looking since 2015.
Oh, KAI. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they nominated for the most exciting DeFi project. That's pretty neat. Yes.
And they want everybody to go over and wear KASPA t-shirts.
Oh, wow. That would be neat. Yeah. I'm sure there's some, that sounds like a European locale. I'm sure there's some KASPA crew that would love to go to that.
Yeah. Somebody says set up a funding mechanism for marketing.
Yeah, we kind of discussed that previously. I mean, you know, like I don't know exactly what kind of marketing they want to do. Like, I don't love KOLs too much myself. They don't seem to, you know, in general, like the real popular ones, that they're kind of, I don't know. But you know, getting a billboard, like, well, what are you really going to do with the money? I don't know. Take out an ad on some like bitcoinmagazine.com or something, like, I don't know.
Organic growth is usually the best.
Yeah.
And basically all of us YouTubers are just doing this, you know, and no one's paying us. You know, we might make a little tiny bit off ad revenue, but that is really a big marketing force in itself.
Yeah. Also, I think the endorsements from things like Marathon and Grayscale, those things are priceless. So that's what I like, seeing that kind of stuff happen.
Can you see that question, Wolfie?
Incentive and an opportunity to attract new developers. So incentives and opportunities, new developers. So we do have the Rust fund. So that's pretty much done because we're on Rust now. But we still have the Dag Knight fund. So that's 70 million KASPA coins are waiting in a multi-sig wallet for for the milestones of Dag Knight to be worked on and completed, and then the pay will be allocated for the meaningful lines of code done by developers from anywhere. So if there's really a wizard developer out there that wants to work on breakthrough tech, like we're talking seriously breakthrough technology, they're welcome to come and start rolling up their sleeves and getting into Dag Knight in the very near future, I would imagine. Yeah. So that's a win. And then if you're talking about like smart contract developers and all of that stuff, so I'm sure that CAF will be subsidizing maybe or paying for smart contract platform. And then on top of that, after it comes alive, I believe KASPA Ecosystem Foundation will also be they're pretty sharp and they have a budget, so they'll be attracting and doing hackathons and all the stuff that you're supposed to do. So it'll unfold as it needs to, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think the KII has an academy as well, don't they, for people who want to get in?
Yeah, that's right.
Any word from OKX?
OKX, OKX, we're in the wallet there for over a year. They know about us. We have open lines of communication. If they need anything with us, they have all the due diligence and compliance documentation. They're in a similar class. Like, remember I said, top of the ladder, they're up there. They're not releasing any specific plans, but it's not like we need to fill out an app for them. They know who we are. That I'm sure they have some plan, or they're waiting for the other one to go, or just something. So we're in position with them. It's just when they want to.
Okay.
Has there been any communication with Robinhood?
No, that's a tough one to get in touch with.
Yeah,
I've been able to get in touch with them. I've
they don't list very many coins.
Not very easy. Yeah, I replied to a Robinhood tweet by I think it's Chris, the founder, Chris with a K or something, like letting him know like we'll help you guys if you want to add us. It's not a struggle.
They probably will eventually, but they might be one of the last dominoes to fall.
Agree.
They have Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. They have kind of the decentralized proof of work.
Mm-hmm. And then also Crypto.com is another elusive one. I was in touch with a lady from there. I think it was last summer, and then she got fired or she disappeared, and I've been unable to catch up with somebody on my own. Mm-hmm. But Kef and I are working on. That's one of our targets that we're going to try to get to. So,
do you ever have sexes reach out to you? Like maybe there's mid-tier ones that ever reach out and they're the ones initiating it.
There's lots. So you may not be aware. Many people may not be aware, but there's something I would refer to this class of people as like independent agents, referring agents. So there's lots of people from around the world, mostly other parts of the world, that seem to work. That they try to connect the dots. So they're not really an employee of like the number 50 or like something like I don't know,
Bitmart or just the middle.
Yeah. Bitmart's a great example. So there's probably like 20 or 30 or 40 people around the world that they're not employees of Bitmart, but they just look for people in they come to every Telegram room. Hey, one listing, blah blah blah. It's 40,000 USDT plus $30,000 worth of coins for airdrops and marketing, blah blah blah. So they have this pitch and they just spam everybody. So we get those all the time. Of course, we're not going to pay to be on like a number 40 or a number 25, 35 thing when we have, the biggest one, the top sixers looking at us for free. Kraken didn't charge us a penny for anything. And so how am I going to pay? How am I going to justify crowdfunding, $100 grand for like number 42 when Kraken charges $0? It doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
But that on the flip side of that, not to be bratty or egotistic or anything, any platform, like I'm not gonna roll my eyes at like number 180 if the smallest pipsqueak place in the world wants to actually do the work, and we'll help them get KASPA going. There's nobody too small to get help, technical support to add KASPA and get the network going on whatever type of platform it is. Hardware wallet, software wallet, mining pool, or any type of exchange. I'm always willing to bring my great peeps, Coder of Stuff, and Rob, my integration develop wizard guys, and have them help any platform get KASPA going.
Did you see Christian Ludwig? He offered 250,000 to Coinbase for integration fees, and then somebody else offered another 50,000 on top of that. But do you think that would make a dent in them, or it sounds like they want a lot more than that, even though they say it's free?
Yeah. So, the level of integration developers they probably employ, and the level of security background check of the software itself, and just all of the tech people that they need to put on something when you get to that level. That sounds like maybe it wouldn't really attract their attention so much. I wouldn't know exactly directly, but I would imagine, yeah, it's a great gesture, but I don't know. They didn't seem to respond to that, so I wouldn't think that was a huge amount.
Okay.
It's probably no money. They just want to list it because they want to make transaction fees, or a lot of money. There's probably no in between where they're just like, oh, $1 million. I mean, Trump coin, either they jumped into Trump coin because it had $25 billion trading volume, or they just got a ton of liquidity from the team.
Sure, yeah. And when people ask how do tokens get on there the first day, there's two important things to realize. Adding a token is just like literally I think I could get my 6-year-old to add a token in like probably 3 or 4 minutes. Like, okay, hold this, copy, then press this, then go over here, put the mouse, put the little thing over here, and then hit paste, and then ding, you added the token. Now drag the logo, the icon of the token in, and drop it right there. Bing. Okay, the token's listed at the end. So that's super easy. And then you make them all out of thin air, and then you give 10% to any huge platform, and they get to sell them into the pump, and it's like a no-brainer. So of course it's not going down like that. It didn't go down like that for Bitcoin, and it's not going down like that for KASPA. So we're just in a different class of asset, so we don't have the same thing going on.
Somebody wants to know, do you think everything will line up for this bull run? Or...
Okay. The crystal ball. I mean, but yeah, nobody knows what's going to happen in 5 minutes or tomorrow or the bull run. We don't know even, is it going to be a bull run that we think, everybody in crypto, or many people in crypto, think it has to follow the 4-year cycle. It has to, where my thought is, I heard an ETF expert from Wall Street. I forget who it was, but the guy's been focused on ETFs for the last 25 years. And he explained that an ETF is a 8-year unfolding project. So just like if you think, of spinning up something, and it takes an X amount of time to just fully wake up. Like, think of preheating an oven, right? You turn an oven to make a pizza, you put it on 400 to make pizza. It's not 400 when you turn the dial. It takes, 12 minutes to get up there. ETFs take 8 years to get to full blast. Okay. So the Bitcoin ones just came out like a year ago. So they still have 7 years until they're sucking in money on full blast. To support this type of a theory, if you look at gold, the gold chart for the last 30 years, so back to like the late 1990s for gold, gold was going along flat at around $350, $400 an ounce or something in the late 90s into the early 2000s. And then in 2003, the ETF came out for gold in 2003. It went on a 9-year bull run from $400 up to $2,000 because the ETF came out. Okay. So the Bitcoin one came out a year ago. There is no KASPA real one yet. We have the little teeny one that's an ETP from Valor so far, which is a great sign. But this bull run, it may not just go up. There might not be a 3-year crypto winter is what I'm getting at. It could just go up and bubble and fake a lot of people out on the first dip, or people will be calling the top maybe, and it's not going all the way down to like a 92% correction. It could go down 45 or 50 and then go back up and it could keep going up for a while. So nobody really knows, especially with no war on crypto, with the wealthiest country in the world trying to blow Bitcoin and crypto out of the water for the last 4 years. Of course it's going to go back down again. But when no one's fighting it anymore, like, why is it going to go down that much? I don't know. Why is it going to go? It's not going to go out of style for 3 years. I don't think so. So who knows? Oh, it's Ashton. Yes, I remember you, Ashton. Sorry.
It's Dan. Yeah, the other guy.
Yes, but I said thank you. Oh, NFTs. Wow, NFTs. That is flattering. Very nice, Ashton. And Ashton, you should come down to Orange County and hang out one day. Bring my wife a small nacho shirt, please, sir. I'll buy you some sushi. Sailor. Bitcoin in a literal religious way. Oh, yeah, on a stablecoin network. Yeah, it's possible. One way or another, though, we should be able to at least win acceptance by Mr. Sailor over time, I would say.
How do us developers start working on smart contracts?
So would you clarify if you mean working on the creation of a smart contract platform or actual smart contracts for, publishing a smart contract you'd like to publish and have functional?
This is super chat for one of you guys, I think. Thank you for your discussion. Outstanding. What is the best place to find out about KASPA related events in the US? Also, when 10 blocks per second.
Sure. So, sounds like you're a crypto bro and you should be on Twitter. So all the news will be all over the place on YouTube here. And then also, of course, Twitter. If there is like some KASPA event in America, like a KASPA centric event or some hackathon or something, it'll be known. For right now, we've only had small localized ones around the globe here. But there's nothing huge in America that's happened yet. But soon we should. Like, by soon I mean the next year or two. When 10 BPS. So Michael Sutton and the other fantastic developers released their little roadmap for that 10 blocks per second. So I think they finalized the code maybe at March, right? The end of Q1, and then anticipating the actual speed transition to take place in late April. So that's in about like 90 or 100 days. I think it'll be actually 10 blocks per second, according to what I read.
Okay. There's a lot of speculation about Wallet 5 and the top wallets that it could be Binance. Any thoughts on that?
It could be Binance. It could be Sailor. What if it was Sailor? It could be Sailor. It could be any huge entity with, that recognizes the potential just buying. It could be some Wall Street guys. It could be some VC somewhere else. It could be really anything. The Coinbase listing we already kind of covered. Yeah. That we don't know.
Thanks for all the hard work, guys.
Hey. It's exciting. And one of my things I always wanted to be was a rock star, except I sucked at guitar and singing, so it didn't really work out. But so I get to be
the next best thing is what you got going on right now, right?
To be part of a winning team and to go around the world and shake hands with people that I've talked to on Telegram and Twitter over the years is really cool and fun. So it's worth it. Okay, what is this guy referring to? Important to help others understand these questions.
I have no idea.
I think it's because we're just answering questions. Yeah.
Am
I keeping you? Have you got a few more minutes?
No, I'm good, man. Everything's. Let me just look at my phone. Make sure this. What's going on?
Because there wasn't many questions at the start, but now it looks like there's a few more. Yeah.
Yeah. We can take some more.
Do you think KASPA follows the power law?
I'm not exactly sure how legit those things are, but in general, like I know there's like the Bitcoin rainbow, and that's I think called a log growth curve, and you can always adjust the bands, right, to make it like include if you have a dip or a going sideways like we've had for like 12 months or 14 months or whatever. You can always adjust them and stuff. They're kind of in the eye of the beholder, or the chart constructor can make them look pretty good, but I would imagine over time, all of our metrics will grow, be on a log growth curve. The adoption, the hash rate, of course, the price should be in that category as well. And, the blocks per second, everything, the technology, everything should be getting larger or better like over time, if you wait long enough. So it may not follow it perfectly. There's going to be dips or whatever, but I think everything's still on the up and up.
Somebody says everybody knows about Solana and ETH. KASPA may be marketing in the New York City Times Square. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, I was born in Manhattan, New York. Not everybody knows that, but now they do. But and so I spent a lot of time on the streets there, and nobody that I know of when I was there, like it wasn't. People don't aimlessly like walk around looking for new things to pay attention to. Like the New York walk is like I'm going somewhere to work, then I'm going somewhere to do something else, then I'm going. They're not staring aimlessly about looking for new things to invest in.
It seems like those billboards, or there's something cool to post on Twitter. Like, hey, cool, look, it's on there. But like, it's either in like Times Square is probably mostly tourists, and they're not. I mean, I don't know. They got so many things they're paying attention to. Like, they wouldn't even, if the KASPA was on there, they wouldn't even know what it was or what. I mean,
yeah. So this NWCC guy, this technology is too good. We're in a bull run. No, I get that, man. Now, also bear in mind that in a bear market, we grew up in our first 3 years was the crypto winter, and we did great. And so there's no reason to believe we're going to miss anything. I don't think we're going to miss anything. And also, it's decentralized. If you feel that strongly about it, you can do whatever you want to achieve the goal of the Times Square or any other type of advertising, or try to convince somebody else to do it. Like you are trying to convince me right now. I'm not doing it.
Says Brussels is not that impressive. I was there twice, but I went to Bruges. Bruges is lovely. Just down the road.
What else do we see? Somebody says, I know we typically associate KASPA with transforming the finance industry. What about KASPA being the layer for economic drivers such as energy, transportation, logistics, and communication? So sounds like that person's not immediately aware of KASPA Industrial. So whoever that person, their name is, I don't know what their name is, but that person should look at KII, KASPA Industrial Initiative. Google that and see what those guys are working on. Okay, super chat. HBAR. I don't know about HBAR. Well, take business. I don't know exactly about that. You probably mean like market share or something. So over time, centralized and corporate run coins don't usually win over time that I've seen. So anything's possible moving forward, but I would hope that with our miraculous breakthrough tech, we're gonna make a lot of other projects not look as attractive. Sparkle summer 2025. I would hope, but I have no idea of the development time frame or whatever.
Will you ever see
for KASPA? I don't think so. I guess there is a side chain for Litecoin of Mimblewimble, but privacy, I know there's a huge community that loves privacy, but really it's not really conducive to adoption and inclusion on platforms that you really have to be on to really make it as an adopted crypto. So I would say no. ADA smart contract from his horn. KASPA did a different. KASPA did it different. So I don't know what they did different because we don't have them yet. I don't understand the question so much.
I think it's the programming language is what he's getting at. If I were to take a guess,
Yeah.
Rust via whatever
Oh,
programming language is very difficult
Rust.
from anybody who's started developing on Cardano. I think.
yeah. So the way I read it is that the language that you have to write a smart contract itself in on Cardano is difficult, right? So, and he says KASPA did it different, but that's not true because we don't have a language chosen yet. They're not. There is no language. There is no smart contracts yet. So, who would know what the language was or how we did it different? I don't understand.
Is it not Rust?
Rust is the node software, but it's not the smart. So, like for example, if you want, I'm not an expert on smart contracts, but the OG is Ethereum smart contracts. The language that you write a smart contract to make a token like USDT on Ethereum is called what the hell is it called? Solidity. So that's the programming language that you write a smart contract in on Ethereum. The language that you're going to write it on KASPA, either on Sparkle or on the other guys, we don't know what it is yet. I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Unless the IGRA labs or whatever, unless they already divulged that information, what they intend to use, then I'm not sure. Oh, that's sweet. I am a rock star in the KASPA space. Thank you, guys. That makes me feel cozy. I appreciate that.
Somebody wants to know your opinion on Plan K's YouTube channel. He's all about power law. Have you ever watched him?
Yeah. So he's definitely he's very well situated and well versed on the traditional finance world and a lot of things. He's very sharp. He knows a lot. Is well rounded. His technical and just science and overall background is incredible. He knows infinitely more about me than trading and markets and charts and everything. Like I said, I got into crypto from the nerd side, the geek side. I had no idea about Wall Street stuff ever, or markets, charts, and anything like that. So yeah, Plan K, I highly respect him. He has his theories, and they seem to be founded in logic and science. So I applaud him, and he's probably onto something.
You see that one?
Oh yeah. We kind of went on this one already.
Yeah, KII and
Yeah, we talked about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about that as well. Do you think they're waiting for the hard fork?
We don't know. They're waiting till it makes sense for them. Is really the best answer, I think. Most people don't care about the tech. That's true. We need prices to go up. So they don't care about the tech or the fundamentals so much. We're talking about retail here. So when we have the smart contract platforms and like a real DEX, and we get some type of wallet where it's really easy to use like Solana, and we don't have outages, and we're cheaper and faster than Solana, I think we'll attract the type of people you're looking for. 10 people. Is there a chance it doesn't work? So the only thing I have ultimate faith in Sutton and Ori and our developers that are going to implement this. They do it the engineering way. They don't take chances. So I would say there's always a chance with any tech thingy that there's a problem unforeseen. But I would say in this case, it's highly, highly unlikely. The only part that would be the difficult part is the switching, the changing from 1 to 10. We know 10 works. The high-speed testnet has been running like a top for over a year now. So we know it's completely capable of doing the 10 blocks per second. It's just shifting the gear from 1, pushing in the clutch, and going to 10 and letting out the clutch and seeing what happens. That's the part. That's the question mark part in my mind. Now, when it actually goes down, I don't think it's really going to be a question mark in Sutton's mind. It's probably not already a question mark in his mind, nor Jonathan, nor Ori, nor our other great guys. So I don't think it's a problem at all.
Since Shoy has a degree in quantum, do you believe KASPA will be able to work around quantum computing from a code breaking perspective?
So this is nothing I'm an expert on, but
Mm.
I believe even Google said what they have now is years away from being any type of threat to Bitcoin, and we would fall under the same general category as that. But it certainly wouldn't hurt to have an expert like Shai available to address it if the need so arises. Between him and then the other guys being able to know how to code what the change was, I would say would be in a very good position to mitigate any threat like that. Stable coins on KASPA pretty soon. Yeah. How about pretty soon? Is that good?
Yeah.
Bro, that's it. IGRA.
Yeah. But sure, there's a lot of ex-CASPA programmers or developers that are part of that company, isn't there? Mike Zach. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy Roma who's one of the guys. He knows the block tag technology intimately, so that's great. L2's on KASPA scam. No, that's gonna be the way that smart contracts go down. And furthermore, like I had mentioned earlier, in case this question asker didn't see the beginning of the show, the ones that we know of so far, which is the IGRA, and then the Sparkle, both of those intend to use KASPA payments to settle to pay for the transaction on their network, and then it's ported to the KASPA network for finality or whatever, something like that. So they're not making their own coin to pay for the transaction. So they're not what we would call parasitic networks like what you have on Ethereum. That's robbing transaction fees from Ethereum.
Okay. Will smart contracts help the miners in the future?
They should, since what I just mentioned, they're paying for it in KASPA. So yeah, as long as you use the ones that the L2s or L1.5s that are paying, that require you to pay in KASPA, then it will help the miners.
Okay.
Gigawatt stablecoin from Key. I don't have any new information. If Key seemed to be watching just recently, maybe they can type an answer in the next couple of minutes here. What else? Da Vinci. Yeah. Da Vinci's he's actually a nice guy, and he was an OG advising people to buy Bitcoin for $1. But I don't think he's the most technical guy. When you Google him, it says self-taught software developer, and he may have his own motives for either making KASPA attractive or seem unattractive at certain periods of time. So it's it won't decrease the safety of the network.
Okay.
Sure. What else do we got here? Any thoughts? Civil war within ETH. I don't pay attention to Ethereum. It's already been the #2 coin for a long time. They can do whatever they want. But we're thankful to Ethereum for letting us borrow their mining community on GPU there for about a good 6 months plus. Getting
I was one of those.
Oh yeah. Public blockchain wraps to evaluate the technology. So yeah, we're not privy to how to get invited to that at the exact moment. I checked my mailbox this morning. I didn't have an invitation, but as soon as it becomes more clear, like what's the department, how can we contact them, what's the guidelines and the framework, I'm working with a fantastic IP attorney. You may have seen on Twitter. His name is John Gross. He's like an IP law master from Berkeley for 35 years. He's a very, very sharp guy. I've had a couple of Zooms with him. He's just a fan of KASPA, and it's not that I hired him or anything, but he's not the exact guy that you would need, but he's well connected, and he knows how this stuff plays out and how it works in general. So between him and some other guys from KEF and some other guys from KAI and some other connections like Marathon, I'm sure I'll be able to home in on how to get kind of at least an application in or whatever we need to do to get in that class. Gigawatt coin. Oh, KASPA key. Here we go. Gigawatt coin will be regulated at launch, so may take some time, but it is in active development. Nice. Yeah, those guys know how to, the regulatory hurdles. Key is great at that as well.
I know the answer to this already, but do you want to answer that?
Yeah, we would never do that. The miners, we have a 40% more efficient algo than anything else in the world, so we don't even use that much electric anyway. And then here's a neat fact. I asked Jonathan just at the beginning of this week, is it possible to have block DAG as proof of stake? So it would be very difficult to make a block DAG that was proof of stake that inherits the same security and everything. You could make simultaneous parallel blocks by staking, but it wouldn't be easy, and it wouldn't be as desirable. And then furthermore, what can't be proof of stake is for sure DAG Knight. It's impossible for DAG Knight to be proof of stake. So that's never happening. So we're never getting cloned with DAG Knight as a proof of stake thing.
Okay.
So that's good.
Cat Daddy, that's for you. Can you see that?
Metal pins.
To
I
your
don't
merch.
even know exactly level things you put on your shirt or something. I can look into it, but
Another one there. When Binance.
Yeah, when Binance has their own, their own thing that will suit them of when. We have no idea. We just know it's possible to happen at any moment. It could be a couple of years, couple of weeks, couple months, couple hours, really, but we just don't know when. It's up to them. Okay, they got a new group meeting in 2 weeks, and they're making rapid progress, which is great.
Nice.
Someone's asking, what is Gigawatt Coin? That's a great question. So in a nutshell, so there are these huge energy producing entities in various countries, predominantly in Europe, a bit in China, maybe in Asia, and then also MENA, Middle East, North Africa, that whole giant portion of the globe. And these guys, this is a general cat understanding. This isn't how it exactly really goes down. And real energy people might laugh a little at how overly simple my understanding is. But so when you have an electric grid and you're making energy, and if you can't make enough at peak demand, you're connected to other countries and other grids, and you borrow some, you take some energy from other people to satisfy the need of your area momentarily, and you owe money for that, for what you take. And then at night when you're making extra and you don't need so much, you can offload it. You can send it over to other places that need it more, and they keep track of that, and they pay for that with money. And they're all over the globe. So you have to pay with money that's like, this guy has this country's money, and this guy has that country's money, and this one has a different money. So you have to pay with wire transfers and currency conversions. And it's really annoying accounting, and it's very expensive. So these guys want to make a token that they can settle every 15 minutes cross-border, that's censorship resistant. So if some government goes, hey, we don't let you trade money with these guys, are kind of bad guys, but in the realm of energy, like, they're all friends. They just like share energy and trade back and forth, and they don't care what the politicians are doing. They want to just be able to pay for their stuff or receive money for their stuff to balance the books every 15 minutes, 24 hours a day. And they want to do it with KASPA, with a token called Gigawatt Token, and that's what it does.
Okay. Thank you. Final question, and I'll let you go then, Wolfie.
Sure. Okay. The key milestones planned for KASPA 3 to 5 is a bit of a long, extended window. The ones that I'm aware of for sure, the L1.5 or L2 smart contract platforms. So we have 2 candidates so far. That's awesome. We know that KEF has the KRC 721 and other interesting things planned for the inscription service or network that's known as KASPlex. We do have the 10 blocks per second coming in about 90 or 100 days from what we hear. And now bear in mind, remember when I was doing the stick shift, first gear is 1 block per second, second gear is 10 blocks per second. It doesn't stop at 10 blocks per second. The next one could be 32 or 40 or 50 blocks per second. And then we could go to 100 plus blocks per second. And this might sound a little wild. It's not wild and incomprehensible. It's not like vaporware. So I asked Sutton, I had dinner with Jonathan and Sutton face to face for like 90 minutes. I'm looking at these two geniuses, and I can't believe they're looking back at me for what? Like, who am I? But it was cool. But I asked Sutton, I go, hey man, I go, just for a goof, what if you started up like testnet 12 or testnet 13 right now? What if you just set it to 100 blocks per second and started a network and nobody was looking and you just had a couple computers doing it? What would happen? And he goes, it would work. He goes, we just have to study it and, you know, refine some things further, just like we had to streamline and perfect and optimize some of the internal pieces, the elements of the Rust software to go from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second, which is why they had the testnet, the high-speed testnet. The 10 block per second testnet was been going for a year, so it could watch how the modules of the software interact, like the mempool and the P2P, like how it talks to other nodes. They watched it and they saw what the bottlenecks were, and they saw what was causing, you know, bottlenecks, and then they optimized it and made it better. So they would need to do that again. So once we're on 10, they need to see that they will start a faster test network and see how it works, and then optimize it again and go to 100 or 50 or whatever they pick, you know, whatever the next smart move is. And then so we have that, and then we have Dag Knight, and Dag Knight is easy to forget about with these other like things that we can understand coming so soon, like 10 blocks per second. Like most people get what that means, 10 times faster. That's easy, right? But the Dag Knight was an impossibility. It was something that was said by all of the other wizards in the world, said, you can't do this. It can never happen. It's like, you know, like if I let go of a brick, it can go up instead of down. It was like an impossibility, but Sutton solved it. It took 3 years, and he made this parameterless distributed computing protocol. Yeah, that's the word. My coffee wore off already. It wore on in the middle of the show, and now it wore off. So anyway, yeah, so this protocol. So yeah, that's coming. I mean, that's a big deal. Nobody's going to be able to ignore that. You know, will retail really get what it does? Probably not. But you know, but the big boys, like, you know, people and institutions like Grayscale, like I like Sailor, Marathon, like guys like that, and entities like that, I don't think they will ignore something like Dag Knight coming to life.
Okay.
And that's about all I know, guys. The rest we'll have to wait for the future to unveil its secrets that it has in store for us.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us, Wolfie. The other guys, will you come back on and talk to us again?
Yeah, man, you guys are cool. Yeah, thanks
Thanks.
for inviting me. Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on too. I know you're probably a very busy guy, so
not that busy.
much appreciated.
Yeah.
And quickly, this one last comment here. It says, "Did Wolfie sell half his furniture for more casts?" And I just thought it was funny.
Half of furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, a long time ago, I sold a lot of things to I sold a lot of things to get into alts in general, like in the teens, you know. And a saying I kind of came up with: if somebody's a little newer, this is going to sound like financial advice. But you know, if you give up, if you give up everything you want to do right now to conserve and grow a bag, then in the future you'll be able to get everything you want. So like if there's, you know, the $1,500 phone, or you can just get by with a $300 phone. If you pass on the $1,500 phone now to conserve resources to get it doesn't have to just be CASPA, but whatever you think is a great pick for going into this new era of crypto. If you give up on the shiny objects for now, you'll be able to get whatever you want, or at least plenty of them in the future. So delayed gratification is definitely a thing that you would want to acquire that ability, especially right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
well, thank
great
you for coming
knowledge to
on.
end the stream on.
Excellent, guys. Well, everybody have a great weekend. Super exciting here in crypto land, and let's see what happens as we go into this new era. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
on. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
See you guys later.